Hi, my name is Jessica and I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. In this video, I wanted to talk about what polycystic ovarian syndrome actually is, and I wanted to share my story, my experience with having PCOS, as I'll call it throughout this video. So what is polycystic ovarian syndrome? Basically, PCOS is where a woman will have cysts on her ovaries, and these cysts can cause irregular periods, a lot of pain. It can be difficult for a woman to conceive with these cysts. There's no real cure for it. You can get your cysts removed, but it's quite difficult for there to be any kind of relief from it. Nobody really knows how many women are affected by PCOS, but it is believed that 1 in 10 women will have PCOS, but not every woman will have symptoms of it, which makes it harder to kind of diagnose, especially in women who don't have any symptoms per se. So there are various symptoms with PCOS, and these can include irregular or no periods, difficulty getting pregnant, acne, excess hair growth, weight gain, thinning of the hair, loss of hair, and oily skin. No one really knows what causes PCOS, but it is believed to be hereditary. It is all to do with the insulin, which is a hormone that controls the sugar level in your body. So many women can be resistant to insulin in their bodies, which their body can then overproduce insulin, which kind of causes more testosterone in the body to be developed. This can cause weight gain, mood swings, all different types of things like that. As I said, there's no cure, but there are kind of treatments for it. You can get kind of keyhole laser surgery to laser your cysts if that's something that you really want to do. Having a healthy diet, exercise. There are treatments for acne, there's treatments for hair loss, hair thinning, all different things like that to be able to live with this condition. Although it is quite difficult for women with PCOS to get pregnant, women can get pregnant with PCOS, and that is something that I was personally worried about whenever I was told that I have PCOS. So now that I've explained what PCOS is a little bit, I am now going to share my story with you guys. When I was 15, I stopped having a period. I didn't have a period for a full year, and obviously that's not good. So I took myself to the doctors. My mum went with me, and I basically said, look, I'm not having a period. I've got really, really bad pain kind of on my left side, in my groinal area. It was excruciating. It was so bad to the point where I had to take days off school. But when I had a period, it was really, really heavy. But since turning 15, 16, I hadn't had one at all. So basically my doctor's response to this was that I was overweight. At the time, I wasn't. At 15 years old, I was not overweight. So for years and years, the doctor basically told me to lose weight, and then my period would come back and I would feel normal. I was told that this was all a part of puberty, this was all a part of growing up. Irregular periods were not an uncommon thing. So as I got older, the pain stayed. It never really got any worse, but it never got any better. I was just kind of used to this pain happening. This excruciating pain, like nobody should have to live with that, but I just thought, oh well, the doctor thinks it's normal, so we'll just plow on, I suppose. Around whenever I was about 23, 24, I started to get quite ill. I remember not feeling like I was there. Like I worked in a place where my job it was quite demanding, and I had to I needed to be in the right mindset to be in my job. I had to deal with people, I had to chat to people. My job was very social, and I just remember being completely not there. It was like I was a ghost. Like I couldn't remember how I got to my job. Some days I couldn't remember driving there, I couldn't remember driving home. Like it was really, really bad, and it was actually quite scary because like my people were telling me things and I just couldn't remember anything that anybody was telling me. So I finally decided to take myself to the doctors, and I spent a year being tested on for different things. I got tested for diabetes, anemia, all different types of things. I even got tested for leukemia at one point. It was literally a year's worth of blood tests. I was going for 3-4 blood tests a month. It was a long process. After all those tests, kind of halfway through really, I got my vitamin D intake tested, and I was told that it was extremely low. So I ended up going to like a specialist at the hospital, and they told me that I didn't have vitamin D deficiency, I had vitamin D resistance. So that was kind of like any vitamin D that my body was getting, it was just kind of like, no thank you. And that's what was making me tired and like really confused and things like that. So I was started on, I think maybe the second lowest dose of vitamin D, and it was not doing anything. Like I was still getting my tests, it was coming back really low. And then now I am on probably one of the highest doses of vitamin D that I've ever heard of. And every time I go, they're kind of like, okay, well, we'll try and see what else we can do for you. So I'm a lot better than what I was. But that was like a really scary point in my life because I couldn't really remember. There was a full year of my life that I can't really remember because I was so out of it. And it was just a scary feeling not to be like in control of your own body or your own thoughts. So as I said kind of at the start of me explaining my story, I was 15 when I first went to the doctors with irregular periods. So I went back again at 24. They referred me to gynecologists and all the rest of it. I had been asking for years if I could get an internal exam, and I was denied. I was denied because I hadn't lost any weight. I was gaining weight. I hadn't lost any, even though I tried everything I could. They were not going to let me get an internal scan. So eventually I went back and I said, look, it's ruining my life because I don't know when my period's going to come. I don't know if it's going to come. I'm trying to plan my life around having my period here. It's not, if it doesn't come, it makes me feel like, oh, I've done something wrong. Like I was just, it wasn't a very healthy time mentally for me because all I thought about was my period, which is weird. You know, it's a weird thing to say. So after all that, they eventually let me go for an internal scan. And right when I got there, as soon as the scan was on the screen, the nurse or the doctor said, yeah, I can definitely see cysts, definitely. And I didn't want to believe it. So for years I had been researching PCOS because I knew I had it. I knew I had it, but I just needed that kind of professional confirmation. For years my mum and I would have spoke about it, and I would have been like, yeah, that's what I have, and she was, you know, very, yeah, that's what you have too. So to wait 10 years, so I was 25 then, when I got the scan, and I went back to my doctor. They told me the results, and my doctor said, yeah, you have PCOS. And I cried. I don't know why I cried, because I knew that I had it. I'd known for years that I'd had it, but for some reason I cried. I think it was because of relief. I think because for years nobody had told me why this was happening to my body, like why I wasn't my body wasn't doing the things that it was supposed to be doing. And I finally got a diagnosis. Unfortunately, I was none the wiser, basically. I got told I had PCOS, and that was kind of the end of it. I was not given any other information. I was not told anything. I wasn't told anything what I had to do. No one I could talk to about it. It was just as if, yeah, here's your diagnosis, you know now, okay, bye. Like it wasn't helpful at all. Everything that I know, and this is no word of a lie, everything I know about PCOS, I've had to research. I've spoke to other women who have it. I have been following this charity Verity, which I will talk about at the end. I got all of my information from them, and that's really worrying to me because a lot of women, 1 in 10 women, 10, like if you know 10 women, one of them has this. One of them is bound to have this, and they might not even know they have it. They might, like me, just be told, oh, you're overweight, just lose weight and you'll be fine. No, that's not how it works. Like, women, everybody needs to know about this condition, because I don't want to say it's ruined my life. It hasn't ruined my life, but it has made a huge negative impact on my life. And especially now that I'm 28 and I'm in a long-term relationship and I'm going to want to have kids, and polycystic ovarian syndrome can make it very, very difficult for a woman to have children. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. I know a lot of women who have PCOS and that have kids. You know, it's not impossible, but it's going to make it very, very difficult. And if you're told it's going to be very difficult for you to have a child, that's all you're going to think about. When you're trying for a baby, like, you're going to think, oh, what if it's not going to work this time? And I know that that's what I'm going to think every time. I know in my heart that every time if I take a pregnancy test, I'm going to think it hasn't worked, and that's going to make me stressed, and that can just add to it not working, and it's just a very stressful thing to be going through. But it's not just women that have to go through this. Obviously, it's, if you have it, you have to go through it, but you don't think that everybody around you as well has to go through it. Like, there was times whenever I was in high school that I couldn't get out of bed, so I was stuck in the house with my mum and dad and my brother, and they had to listen to me cry and say, oh, it's really, really painful, and there was nothing they could do about it. So it doesn't just affect the person that it affects, it, you know, it has this kind of ripple effect. And my partner as well, like, there's days when I can barely move, I'm in that much pain, and like, all I can think about is, am I going to get pregnant, or is my body able to work properly? And it does make me really upset, and in turn it makes him upset too. And like, my parents were there throughout my whole diagnosis. We knew that it's what I had, but it was still really upsetting to hear. Like, nobody wants to be given the news of, oh, your ovaries might not work properly. It took me a long time to kind of, you know, come to terms with it, but I feel really passionately about trying to spread awareness. Like, I couldn't believe of the amount of people that I've spoken to that have had the same symptoms as me, and I've said I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and they've asked, what is that? Like, that's so scary to me. Like, that should be something that everybody should know about. And why wasn't I told more information about it? I don't know. But that's why I want to raise money for polycystic ovarian syndrome. I am raising money for Verity, who are a charity who support women who are going through polycystic ovarian syndrome. So as I said, Verity is the charity that I will be supporting. So I was introduced to this as I said, I did my own research and I found Verity. So they can offer support. They run events. You can sign up to get a newsletter, get booklets which can give you more information about PCOS and how to kind of cope with it. There are local groups. They're on social media. Their social media is actually really, really good. I follow them on Instagram, and I've actually learned a lot through the women that talk on their Instagram posts. So I'm actually really proud to be supporting this charity. So I'm actually going to be participating in the Ards Half Marathon and Walk. I am doing the walk bit. I cannot run the length of myself. So my partner and I will be doing the walk. It is on the 30th of June, and I have set up a GoFundMe page. If anyone would like to donate, as you can tell, I am very, very passionate about this, as it's something that directly affects me. So yeah, thank you for listening to my story. If you have any questions, or if you have PCOS and want to have a chat, I am very, very open about it. I'll just say it how it is. I have no shame in having it. I do honestly believe that every person should know what it is and how it affects you, ways that you can kind of get around it, deal with it kind of thing. So yeah, guys, you don't have to donate any money at all. But yeah, if you have any questions or you have anything to say, anything to let me know, please feel free to. But if you want to donate, I will put the link somewhere. Yeah, so please just get educated about it, learn about it. Talk to anybody that you know that has it. Like, you're not alone. It's one of those things where you think, oh, there's something wrong with me, this is just me, this is going, like, that's going through this. That's not the case. 1 in 10 women have this. You'll probably know 5 women in your life that have had this. Like, you may have it and you don't know. Like, you don't know these things, but just know that there's always someone for you to talk to. Even if you don't know me, talk to me about it. As I said, I'm very, very open. I'm very proud of being able to chat about these things, because a lot of people, especially when it's like an endocrine gynecologist issue, a lot of women would be like, no, I'm not talking about that with anybody. Like, it's very embarrassing. But I am very proud of, I would say, being a representative for this cause. But yes, thank you very much for listening, and yeah, that's all I have to say on that. So yes, Lee and I will be participating in the Ards Half Marathon at the end of June. So wish us luck. If you don't want to donate or don't want to talk about it, at least wish us luck, because we are going to need it. And yeah, I will chat to you guys soon. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.